Gayatri. Hi everyone, this is Gayatri here, and I would be the trainer for this Pega related course. I've been into corporate Pega training for about 7 years now, so I take up trainings on different Pega related certifications like PCSA, CSSA, CPVA, decisioning consultant, marketing consultant, data scientist, and sort of other certifications, and as well as on different Pega related frameworks like Pega sales automation, CRM, marketing, customer service, agile studio, and sort of stuff. Right? So when coming to the course, this course is spanned across about like 60 hours, where we cover both the CSA and the CSSA. Okay. So to give you an insight of the certifications related to Pega, yes, I assume you might have done your background work, but still. So Pega Certified System Architect certification is the basic certification for anyone who wish to work on the Pega applications. Okay, that's the basic level of application. After which we have Pega Certified Senior System Architect, which we call CSSA. So that's the next level. Okay, and the final one is the Lead System Architect. So these are the steps that you have to go through in order to start working on the Pega platform. But for any beginners or for anyone who's new to Pega, we generally suggest go with CSA. Okay. And this course, yes, it covers all the basics. I mean, probably for the first half, for the first 30 hours, we would be discussing the basics, which would be covering all the concepts of CSA. Okay. For this next half, we would be covering the topics related to CSSA. Okay. And the course is scheduled, or it is designed in such a way that it is aligned with the Pega Academy. Okay, so that once you go through the course and you work with a proper hands-on, you will also be certification ready. So you will be able to take up your certifications once you complete the training. Okay. Okay, so I just wanted to know your backgrounds, your technical background maybe, so that we can align the course accordingly. Okay, so can I get your introductions, please? Okay, can we start with Shrikant? Yes. Yes, Shrikant, I think the audio is missing from your end. Okay, so along with your technical background, I also wanted to know, like, what is your expectation from the training, or your expectation towards the end of the course. So yeah, that is also needed. Okay, maybe I think I'll start with Dinesh. Hi, Dinesh.
Hey, hi.
Yeah, hi.
Myself Dinesh. Hi to everyone. I actually worked on Pega for almost like 2 years, but that's 2 years back. I worked in Capgemini and I'm CSA certified. I
Okay.
just left that company to do my higher studies, and now I was trying to fetch jobs in Pega itself. I'm in Canada right now.
Okay.
So I actually wanted to brush up my skills, and I wanted to go through all the I literally forgot everything in Pega.
Okay.
Recent days I'm just going through PDN and just exploring things, but I guess I
Okay.
need some tutor to just brush up everything.
Got it.
And I was interested to do CSSA as well, so yeah, that's how I'm here in front of you.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nice, Dinesh. And may I know which version are you certified with CSA?
That was long back 7.2.
7.2. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah. Thanks, Dinesh. Thank you. Rajagopal?
Hey, Gayatri. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So, my name is Raju Gopal. I was working as a business architect. So, I like to learn about Pega so that I could have some certifications and try to explore more on Pega. So, that was my primary interest of joining this particular program.
Okay, I got it. And which version are you working with currently?
Currently we have 8.4.
4. Okay, okay. Yeah. And basically, as a BA, you would be focusing on the high level aspects. Now, I think you wanted to explore a little more hands.
More detail, yes, yes.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Next, we have Rama.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm non-technical actually.
Okay.
I'm into management roles. Currently, I want to switch my career into technical, so I joined this course.
Okay, okay. And were you, have you been working with any of the BPM tools earlier, or is it just like completely
No. It's
new to
completely like management, like marketing.
Okay, got it, got it, got it. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Rama. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Imtiaz. Hi,
Hi
Imtiaz.
Gayatri. Yes, hi everybody. So I come from a very non-technical background. I worked for a bank for many years. Then last year I did a training for Selenium. I worked in Selenium for a year, but I'm not enjoying it. It's a lot of Java. There's a lot of Java involved. So I'm looking for something in IT that has less coding. So from there I found out about one of my friends recommended the Pega certification. So I'm not I I don't have any problem with learning coding, but it's not my strongest suite.
Okay, you wanted to be minimal. The coding.
Yes.
Got it.
I don't mind if I don't become architect. If I just become like a non-coding analyst, I'll be more than happy.
Got it. Yeah, so I think you landed into the right place.
Okay. Great.
Thanks, Imtiaz. Thank you.
No problem.
Then we have Vijay.
Hi, Divya. Sorry, this Divya, right?
Gayatri.
Oh, sorry, Gayatri. Okay. Yeah, actually, I am into testing background. So now, after working for 15 years, now I'm planning to move to development. So that is the reason I opted for Pega now.
Okay.
So, like, do we need Java background for this?
Not exactly. If you have a Java or OOP kind of background, that helps, but it is not mandatory. Like you don't need to be an expert, but still, yes, you can get along with Pega.
Okay, sure. And one question, so like, do we get this tool also for our hands-on purpose?
Yeah, I think Chandu, yes, he will be able to provide this
Okay.
software as well. Yeah, you can check with him once.
Okay, sure. So in detail, it will be explained, right? Because I'm like completely new to this, and I'm planning to switch to dev after so many years in testing. So
Okay, got it. Got it. Thank you. Okay, so I think that is all we have. Okay, so the purpose I was asking about your backgrounds and your expectation is so that we can align the training accordingly. So if there are everyone who's already aware, so we can go with a separate pace. Whereas when we have folks who are completely new, we would be starting up with the very basics. Right? So that is what I was asking for. So today's session would be more like a demo, as in like we would be just looking at the high level aspects, and you will be able to understand how we will be taking up with the course and sort of stuff. Whereas from tomorrow, it would be like the regular class 1 agenda. So class 1, class 2, that's how we would go. And as you have mentioned, your expectations from the course. So I do have certain expectations from your side. The course, I mean, each day we would be looking at 1 hour for the session. Okay, probably the first 15-20 minutes, we would be looking at the concept, understanding the background. So understanding when to use what and sort of stuff. The rest of the time would be for the practical implementation. So where I would be showing and you will be understanding it. Okay. And I generally do not suggest this sort of approach where both of us simultaneously work. So that is not generally suggested, because I wanted you to completely focus on the session. After that, I mean, after the completion of the session, you can go back and do your practice. And I suggest that this course is, it's not like a regular training. I mean, it's not like something very theoretical. We would be looking into the practical implementation. And until unless you work hands-on, you will not be able to, take it up. It's not something like I listen or I attend the session today and then just come back tomorrow. So it doesn't work that way. So you should also put in some effort. Yes, because we are all putting in time here, and you're putting your money as well, right? So let us make it productive. And I suggest that at least 1 hour of practice for hands-on is definitely required. Okay, so that's the only expectation I have from your side. And I totally agree. You all, I mean, most of you are like working professionals. I know it might not be possible, but let us take some time and we will try to practice as much as we can. Okay? And if not, if it was not possible on a daily basis, at least during the weekends, try spending some 2 to 3 hours during the weekends, and yes, I think that should be good. Okay? So that is the only expectation I have. Right. So can we get started? Are we good so far? So any other questions or doubts, any queries you wanted to pose, any doubts regarding the course, the content, anything as such? Are you good? Okay, great. Okay, so let us just go ahead. And today we will be looking at a very high level aspect. I'm not going too much of technical stuff today. We will just see and try to understand what Pega is all about and how it allows for the development, what all, who all would be working on it. We will see the typical roles that are available in a Pega project, the various studios that it offers. We will be looking at all of this data. So to start off with, what do you think is Pega? Because you might have done your basic background. So what in your perspective is Pega? Sorry, Imtiaz, you are saying something. Sorry, I'm not able to get that.
No, Gayatri, I just wanted to say, as far as I know, it's a cloud application.
Cloud application. Okay. Okay.
It's a case management tool.
Case management, okay. Okay, any other perspectives, guys?
It's a
So
BPM tool which is built on Java.
built on Java, okay. Good. So, any other perspectives?
Yeah, like where we can do the end-to-end flow using this case management.
End-to-end flows, okay, agreed. Okay. So Pega is basically an application development platform. Okay. Okay, let me tell you. It's an application development platform where the business users and the developers work together. So they work hand in hand in order to develop applications, both the business team and the IT team. And when I ask this question, the most common answer that I come across is Pega is a BPM tool. What is it? Pega is a BPM tool. Okay, now what is BPM? BPM is business process management. Okay, so let us understand the process first, then we will try looking at business process, then we will go into business process management. So to start off with a very basic of what is a process. Anything that involves a series of steps or actions in order to achieve an outcome is called a process. So anything that I do in a sequential set of steps to receive or to achieve an outcome is a process. So I make coffee. I can call it a process. Agreed? Because it involves some sequence of steps. Yes, I can call coffee making as a process. Right. And I need to generate a project report. Yes, I can call it a process. Why? Because it also involves some series of steps. As like I need to gather the information for the report, segregate it, okay, and represent it in nice formats. And I will decide who this report has to be sent to. Correct? So all of this are a set of sequential steps. So both of these could be called as processes. Good. Now, what is a business process? Let me read it. So collection of related events, activities, decisions that involve a number of actors, resources that collectively lead to an outcome, which is of value to an organization or its customers. Okay. So here the most important aspect is the outcome that should be of value to the organization or for the customer. Okay. So you can have processes, good, but not every process can be called as a business process. Why? Because the outcome is important here. So the earlier two examples that we were discussing, which is coffee making and project report. So when it comes to coffee making, so I making coffee, does that add any value to my organization or for my customers? No. Agreed? Maybe until unless I work for an actual coffee manufacturing company. Otherwise, it doesn't add any value to my organization or for my customers. So I cannot call coffee making as a business process. Okay, it doesn't qualify as a business process. Whereas project report. So project report might involve entities that are related to my customer satisfaction index, revenues that were generated in the last quarter, profit margins of the last 10 years, the sales of the organization. So the data, when it comes to these kind of entities, yes, it definitely is a value for my organization, because depending upon the report, I will make some decisions. So that's when I start analyzing and I will make some decisions. And yes, I can call it a value to the organization. And yes, it is a business process. Okay, you're getting to see the difference, right? So not every process can be qualified as a business process. Okay. And any a real life transaction that you can take, okay, will satisfy as a business process. Suppose order to cash. So which is like a very regular transaction that we do, right? You place an order online, right? How does that transaction happen? Or an application to approval. It might be a passport application, a loan application, okay? Or a claim to settlement. So all these, the real life transactions that we come across, they're all business processes. Okay. And when I have to check whether a process can be qualified as a business process or not, I need to check these kind of entities. Okay, so what are those? I have 6 aspects here. First one is the events. Okay, then I have activities, then decisions, actors, resources, and outcome. So 6 entities need to be satisfied in order to call a transaction or in order to call a process as a business process. So what are those? Events, activities, decisions, actors, resources, and outcome, of which the most important one is the outcome. Right. So let us take a simple example here. I'm going to take a very practical example, which is an order to cash. Okay. So I think most of us order stuff online these days, right? And with the pandemic and all of these things happening, so we generally tend to place orders online, so for groceries or whatever. So let us take this particular example where I wanted to purchase a gift, purchase a book online. So I wanted to gift that to somebody. Yeah, or I want it for my own purpose. I want to buy a book online. So what is that I do? I start looking at the different e-commerce sites. Okay, there's Amazon, Flipkart, and a lot of other uh, sites. So for example, I've chose Amazon. Now, you start searching for the book. Okay, so you see who all vendors are providing the book, who all manufacturers are there. You look at the discounts they are providing. Obviously, yes, we would look at discounts, and you would check for the reviews. You check the feedback and the rating. So which vendor is providing it with a better quality or with you check all of those details, and you finalize one. So once finalized, you proceed with the payment. You make a payment, and you choose your mode of payment. Basically, it could be through a credit card, debit card, internet banking, cash on delivery, or your Amazon reward points or coupons, whatever. You choose the mode of payment, or it might be cash on delivery also. So that decision is made. Okay, so once your payment is done, okay, or once you're through that particular phase, your order is placed. Okay. So you immediately you get a mail or a message saying that this is your order ID, so and so. Thank you for shopping. You get that communication. After which the vendor's part would begin. So your part as a customer is done. So there are other actors who would be working on this transaction now, right? So the vendor's part begin where the vendor needs to accept the order, right? So he would check, he would also make a decision whether he can accept the order or not. So assuming we are considering the happy path flow. So assuming the vendor accepts. So after that, your product, it is moved for packaging, it goes for shipping, and then finally out for delivery. So a delivery guy comes in and he delivers the product. So this is how a transaction works, a very real life transaction. Now let us try to correlate this with the 6 entities that we have known. Okay, what is it? The first one is the event. Okay, you initiating for purchasing a book online is nothing but it is an event. Okay, and the tasks that you perform throughout this transaction will be considered as activities. Okay, so what all tasks you have done? You have searched for different vendors, you have looked for different ratings, you have looked for discounts, you made payments, you tracked the order, right? So all these are the activities that you perform. So all these, yes, the tasks, they are called the activities. Then decisions. So what all decisions are involved here? So you made a choice whether the mode of payment has to be internet banking, COD, or reward points, debit card. So you made a decision there, correct? So decisions are involved. Then actors. So who all are the actors here? You as a customer, you would be the actor. Probably you can say the main actor. Then the vendor is an actor, right? The warehouse guy who works on the packaging, right? The shipping guy, the shipping team, the delivery team, and finally the delivery guy. So all these will be my actors. Then resources. What is a resource here? So anything that helps me perform this transaction can be called as a resource. Okay. So the trolley in a warehouse can be called as a resource. Or when the delivery guy comes in, he brings a device for e-signature. So yes, that can be called as a resource. Or the gift wrapping paper could be called as a resource. And then the last, the most important one is the outcome. So what is the outcome here? You receiving the book is the outcome. Okay. Here, when it comes to this point of outcome, my outcome could be positive as well as negative also. Right? I received the book. It is in a good shape, all good. I liked it. Yes, it is a positive outcome for both me and the vendor. Taking the other scenario, which is a negative outcome. So I received the book, but it is not the original copy. Okay? Or it's not the latest edition, or it's damaged. So in that case, it is a negative outcome. What will I do? I will put in for an exchange, or I will put in for a return. Okay. And this is considered a negative outcome for both the customer as well as the vendor, because the vendor has to go through all the process once again. So it's kind of a negative outcome. Okay. It's not that only if it's a positive outcome, I will call it a business process. Otherwise, I don't call it. No, not like that. In a business process, you should be able to handle both positive and negative outcomes. Okay. Right. So this is all about understanding the business process. So you can take any example, any real life transaction you could take, and you'll be able to correlate all of these 6 entities within that transaction. Okay. You can try the rest of the other examples for yourself. You can check how you can call something as a business process or not. Right. So far, are we good? Any questions? Are we clear?
Yes.
Yes, clear.
Great. Okay. So next, we will be looking at understanding the business process management. Now we have understood business process good. So all kinds of transactions which involves events, activities, decisions, actors, resources, outcome. So if a transaction satisfies these entities, yes, I can qualify it as a business process. Good. Now, what is business process management? Okay. So in the earlier example, when we were talking about Amazon, so one transaction we have dealt with is placing an order, which we have discussed. Right? So what do you think could be the other transactions that you could do with Amazon? Any guesses what, or any inputs on what could be
Registering as a seller.
yes, registering as a seller. Good. That's a transaction itself. Correct. Okay. Okay. Any other transactions? Okay, what else you could do with your Amazon account?
Can we raise a complaint on that?
Yes, complaint could be a transaction, correct?
Return also a transaction, right?
Return, yes, return of a product is a transaction, good. Then, yeah, I think fair enough. So you can register as a seller, you can deal with your um, you can have your subscriptions, yes, taking a subscription for Prime or unsubscribing. Then complaint, you can raise a complaint, or you can, you can do a lot of other transactions as well. Now, if your application is able to manage all of these transactions together, okay, focus. So if your application is able to manage all of these transactions together on a single unified platform, that is what I call BPM. Okay, if my application is able to manage every transaction of a particular application, yes, I call it a business process management tool. Okay. Now with BPM, you will be able to design your transactions, you'll be able to design, you'll be able to analyze them, you'll be able to execute, you'll be able to monitor, you'll be able to automate. A lot of stuff is possible when it comes to BPM tools. Okay. So this generic definition, it's not just related to Pega. For any BPM tool you take, we have a lot of BPM tools. There's TIPCO, there's Nintex, there's IBM BPM, there's Appian, there's Pega. So different kinds of BPM tools are there, right? And we cannot say that it's not like others are useless, only Pega is a pioneer. It's not that way, but we tend to choose the tools depending upon the requirement. So each one has got its own advantages and disadvantages. So we cannot say that no, IBM BPM is I don't use it because it's not worthy. No, it's not like that. So we get to have our own advantages, disadvantages, the requirements. So all of these would decide what kind of BPM tool you're going to use. Okay, and of which obviously Pega is used because of the low coding approach. You hardly get to code here. So that's the advantage when compared to the other BPMs. So now with a BPM, you will be able to deal with designing the transactions, you will be able to analyze them, execute them, monitor them. You will be able to generate reports out of it. You will be able to track. A lot of things are possible. For any BPM that we take, it needs to satisfy a certain body of principles. Okay. So when I say I've built my own object-oriented programming language, okay, I say that to you. You ask me how do I prove it? So I say that whatever I've built is satisfying all the OOP concepts. Like you have class, you have object, abstraction, encapsulation, all of that are being satisfied. Good. So the next day I come and say that I've built my own BPM. So you would ask me the same question, prove it. So what do I say? I say that my BPM tool satisfies all the body of principles. So this is a standard. Okay, or you can say that an approach that needs to be followed by every BPM tool. Okay, so we are not going into the detailing of what are these body of principles and all. So it's a bit out of the scope, and you can just have a look for yourself regarding this body of principles. Okay, so now we know what is BPM. We know what is a process. We know business process, and we know BPM. So let us now understand what Pega is all about. So as I said, Pega is an application development platform where business users work together with the IT. And here, instead of writing lines and lines of code, we get to see a lot of visual tools. Okay. So here, all those, yes, when I try to build the same application in Java, okay, I need to write lines and lines of code. But when it is built using Pega, you would get to use a lot of visual tools rather than writing code here. Okay. And when you look at any typical Pega application, you get to see that the business users and the dev team, the BA team and the dev team work together. In fact, BAs are the one who start working on your application initially. So they design the high level version of your application and then they hand it over to the development. Okay. In a general perspective, we call BA as in like business analysts, correct? So BA is nothing but a business analyst. But when it comes to Pega, we call them business architects. So they're not business analysts, they are business architects. So they would also be involved in your application development. Okay, so they have a separate studio they would be working on. So a studio designated for the business architects. So they would be working on their own studios. And once the initial skeleton is built, that's when they hand it over to the development team. Okay, so there is a very close coordination between the business users and the dev. Right. And yes, Pega is recognized as an industry leader in the BPM category. Okay, so far it was all about understanding BPM and understanding about Pega. Okay. Why is it that Pega should be used? Why not something else? So what do you think are those key differentiating factors when comparing with Pega to any other application development tools? So any perspectives here? Why Pega? Why not something else?
Is a low coding so that the developer focus on the providing the business solutions rather than focusing on learning the coding all the time.
Right. So the major focus here is in the transaction. It is like a more of a customer centric or a customer focused development. So I do not say it's like a complete no coding, but it depends upon the requirement. Correct. Okay. So any other perspectives? One of it is yes, low coding or no coding. Good. Any other inputs? Okay. So let us see. So the first one, the obvious one would be your low code or no code approach. So I don't say Pega is a complete no code. I don't say that. But yes, it is minimal. So depending upon the requirement, basically, if, okay, let me put it this way. So Pega comes with a lot of inbuilt features, right? So if your requirement is within the features, then it's a no code approach. I don't need to write any set of code here. But if your requirement is a bit beyond what the platform has provided, then yes, I can go ahead and I can write my own set of code. So it becomes a low code approach. So it depends whether is it a no code or a low code. Then model driven. So here the application development is completely like a model driven approach. So what is model driven? I'll tell you. So model driven is basically focusing upon the transaction. So you define a model. I mean, you define something called as a case type. Okay, remember these terminologies, case type. So case type is what we would be designing. Then you will have I mean, most of the tools that we deal with are visual tools. Yeah, I don't tell that they're simple drag and drop. No, it's not that simple. But yes, most of them are visual tools. And business users work with IT. Yes, I think we have thrown enough light on this. Required documentation is automatically generated. This is one of the advantages when it comes to Pega, where you don't need additional resources for documenting your application. So it is automatically generated. So we get to see a lot of projects where, not much significance is given to documenting. So they tend to document few things when towards the end of the project, like the project is almost done. So 2 or 3 resources would sit and then they start working on the documentation. So which probably may not be that fruitful. With Pega, you get to generate your documentation, and Pega supports responsiveness. So responsiveness is something which is related to the different devices that you try to access the application. So generally, when it comes to Java, for example, I've built an application which is for the web browser, or probably it's for a web application. Now, if I try to access the application through a mobile, I need some additional HTML, CSS configurations, definitely. Okay? But with Pega, you don't need it. Once you build the application, you can access it across any device, any screen resolutions, any device sizes. So the system will take care of adjusting the screen according to the device size and resolution. So Pega supports responsiveness. Okay. So these are the key factors that comes with the application development approach. And this is a market review for different BPM tools. There's Pega, there's Nintex, there's IBM BPM, Appian, a lot of BPM tools are there. And this graph represents the research frequency versus the rating. So the customer satisfaction rating. If we observe, the research frequency of Pega is quite high. So with each new version they come up, they come up with a lot of new features. Right? The research frequency is quite high. So that, I mean, if you observe, we have got a lot of changes, a lot of new versions with the Pega platform. So starting from 5, we have got now 5.1, 5.2, then 6, 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, 7, 7.1, 7.2, 7.2.1, 7.2.2, then until like 7.4, after which we call it Pega Infinity version. So starting from Pega 8, we call it Pega Infinity. So within 8 also we have got 8.1, 8.2.1, 8.3, 4, 5, right? So the latest Pega version, I think 8.6 has been out like 3 weeks back. So with new versions coming up, they are coming up with new features and fixes for the earlier versions. Right? And in fact, this could be the reason for few people or few clients not choosing Pega. In fact, that has become a bit of disadvantage as well, right? Because I start building my application in 8.1 now, and within the next a couple of months, I get 8.2. So I obviously need to start looking at upgrading my project, right? So a sort of disadvantage as well, right? But they come up with a lot of new features with each new release, and the research frequency is quite high. And when it comes to capabilities of the platform, we have something called as DCO, direct capture of objectives. So this means that I can directly capture the requirements and specifications within the Pega application. So generally we use a lot of project management tools like Jira, Kanban boards, and a lot of other stuff, correct? So all of those, yes, we can handle them directly inside the Pega application. So your requirements can be directly gathered and managed within the Pega application itself. Okay. Then we have something called as guardrails. So for any tool, any platform you take, it has its own best practices and standards that you have to abide with, correct? Here also, Pega has certain best practices and it defines a score for your application. So this score is called guardrail score. So this score is, it defines the health of your application. So how healthy is your application? So how many deviations are you having with, from the best practices? All of those can be checked in the guardrail scores. So the score ranges between 0 to 100. Okay, the higher the better. So for an efficient or a good Pega application, it has to be more than 95. It's best if it is more than 96. Okay. Right. And then extensible applications. So Pega allows us to create our own framework applications. Okay. So we can define our own framework applications. As a framework is something that's already built, correct? So when I call a Spring framework, a Hibernate framework, what does it mean? So someone has already written a code for it, and now I can just reuse it, correct? So if my requirement is I would want to build an application based out of Spring. Okay. So will I sit and start creating those framework now? Or should I start writing the code for Spring now? No, someone has already written it and I would be reusing it. So they are nothing but frameworks. Now, Pega allows us to create our own framework applications as well. We would be looking at the application creation and all in a very detailed aspect. Okay. Then deployments. So you can deploy your applications on device or on the cloud. So on premise and the cloud as well. Okay. So now most of the applications with Pega are based out of the cloud. So which way makes it easier for us to handle and maintain the applications. Right? Yes. So this is all about the different capabilities of the Pega platform. Are we clear with this? Any questions so far? Are we good? Clear? Okay. So the next thing that we would be discussing is about the application development studios. When I talk about the studios, these studios are designated for a different set of people that act on your application. So we have 4 studios available: app, dev, admin, and prediction. Application studio, development studio, administration studio, and predictive studio. So these studios are focused for different set of people. App studio for the business architects, the business analyst, so which is for an accelerated application development. You can quickly develop the skeleton of your application here. Then dev studio for the experienced developers, and like the complex stuff related to versioning, the source control, security, integrations, all of this is handled on the dev studio. Then you have admin studio for system administrators who look after the background processing, the batch jobs, the APIs, deployments, okay, the queues that run in the backend. So all of these are tracked and they would be looked after in the admin studio. Then we have prediction studio. So your data scientists or data analysts, people who generally work with the data, so they would be working on the predictive studio. And if you want AI ML features into your application, aspects of artificial intelligence and machine learning, if you want those to be included in your application, you would be using this predictive studio. So you can build your own models, predictive models, adaptive models, text categorization models and all. So you can build them and you can bring in this AI flavors into your application. Okay. And as developers, we would be focused on the dev studio. So throughout the course, and probably most of the course, we would be working on the dev studio only. And obviously for different roles of people, we get to use different productions to, different kinds of studios, depending upon what their role is in the project. Okay. So this is all about the various, we have discussed a very high level aspects in a very generic sense, as in like what the platform is all about, how it works, then the capabilities, the features, and then the studios and all of this we have seen. I do not want to go into much of detail for today. I think this is what we have got. So any questions, any doubts, or anything that you wanted to share? Nothing? So are we good?
Gayatri, hi, Dinesh
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
No questions regarding the topics that I have done today, but I just wanted to know, like, by the end of the a course, we'll be having a practical application developed as well, right? From everyone hands-on. Will that be happen?
Okay. So it goes this way, as in like we will start with the application creation. I mean, the same application would be used throughout the course.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And I would be taking up one application, and parallelly you can also work on the same application. I mean, for the hands-on practice. So that yes, towards the end, if you do the proper hands-on, yes, you will have an application.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So any other questions, team? Are we good?
Yeah. No from my side.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Gayatri, I have a question. Imtiaz here.
Yes.
So like I told you in the introduction, I'm looking for a like less technical role. Will this training build me up for that?
Less technical role. I mean, if you are looking at completely if you're not looking at development, maybe this wouldn't suit you much. I suggest that you might take up your BA level certification. I mean, like the business architect one, which is more related
Yes.
to the business users and product owners. That's when it's more like a client facing thing.
Yes.
As per what you said, I think maybe that might suit you, the BA thing.
Okay. Thank you so much.
This course with CSA and CSSA, it's going to be a lot technical. I would be frank here. It would be a complete technical stuff.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah. So any other questions, team? Are we good? Okay then. Yeah. So that is all for today from my side. So again, I think we will catch up tomorrow, probably same time. Okay. Yeah. Thank you all. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Gayatri.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.